Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ludi Tonight. It is Sunday, November 5th, 2023, and we are getting ready for a doubleheader here on Splatoon Tourney. We have another stream going on in Splatoon Tourney 1, featuring two amazing matches. But tonight, you guys are going to see the Calamariachis versus Fried Calamari. We've got a lot of Calamari today. And then up next will be Aquatic Vanguard versus Sub Power Up. On the mic tonight for our first set, we have Nito and Jake. I will toss it to you guys.
And if you're here on Splatoon Tourney, you're in the stream that actually matters. No, not kidding. Don't put that on the record. But we've got one heck of a matchup, as Falco said, coming up for you. It's going to be the Calamariachis versus Fried Calamari. You would probably think this is a hibachi restaurant, but it's going to be me on the mic, joined by my partner in crime, Jake.
Yes, Nito, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm very excited to see both of these teams, see what they bring out and like what goes on. Obviously, with Calamariachis, they're 4-0, and I think Fried Calamari was 3-1. So I'm excited to see what goes down.
Yes, and as you see, their rosters have disappeared, and they've come back to play the game. It's actually Calamariachis. As it stands right now, they have confirmed their playoff berth. They're going to be going to the playoffs no matter the results of this. So they might be more inclined to take it easy, but I'm sure they would still want to go undefeated. Fried Calamari, though, is in a precarious spot here because if they can win this matchup, they confirm their playoff spot. If they lose, they're going to need Hoot Hoot recruits in the same group to win their game against Axolotl Anarchy. That way, Fried Calamari can win the tiebreaker because they have won that match against Hoot Hoot recruits. That will get them into the playoffs. So Fried Calamari itching to get themselves into safety with a win here. And it's all going to start here in Game 1, Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yes, and Inkblot Art Academy, obviously a big counter pick map. Not zone specifically, but still, most teams know the general layout. I would expect to see, that the usual, probably 2 splatter shots, 2 Zukas at most, maybe a pencil or some other sort of cooler weapon. What most teams like to do here is they try to get zone and immediately get on that plat and lock out.
You cannot overstate how important the plat lockout can be on this map. That prevents a lot of openings for the opposing team. That means you can't drop down as easily. That's one thing. And then the other is just making sure you know how and where and how to enter. The only other option would be to make the flank, which could pay off dividends if any of these teams have an aggressive player on their side. Something, say, along the lines of a sneaky player. You say, try to look for a carbon roller. You might even look for a tri-slosher nouveau. And that also tends to be a pretty good pick here. Tri-slosher nouveau or even the B-try.
Yes, exactly. And as we get into this game, we'll see, what comps come out and who has the advantage going into the zone. Here we see a Hydra and a T-Tech on the side of Calamariachis, and a sort of standard comp from the side of Fried Calamari. I know the Hydra end is definitely a pick that doesn't see much use, except for people who really play the weapon. Now as we start, they get traded. They're both go one down on each side. The T-Tech just trying to paint for those strikes to help with the zone as they're in that this stalemate middle area.
And speaking of stalemate, it's not going to last too long. That's 2 players going down now for Fried Calamari. Calamariachi's making a move here. Here's Dante with the 52. Gets 2 picks. Gets actually picked off by Bella with the splash. It's still Calamariachi's zone for now, as the Hydra's going to back up. Might have to pop that Booyah Bomb. Here comes the Booyah Bomb. Here comes the Tactical from Fried Calamari. Going to pop it right next to the Tactical. See if they can sneak in a pick or 2. Doesn't quite sneak in the picks they were looking for, and they actually get picked off by the Inkzuka. The zone might go back to Fried Calamari.
Yes, and that special coordination was really good from Fried Calamari. The Crab plus the Zuka, able to pick off so much. But as one goes down to the bomb, that halts any and all momentum that Fried Calamari had. As Calamariachi gets the squeezer, and the machine also goes down, giving Calamariachi that zone back and that control. As the cooler comes out, the crab comes out from Fried Calamari. They get one, trying to get another one, trying to get that zone. The Booyah comes out as well, and that is a cap with only 4 points remaining from Calamariachi.
And that's going to be the zone for them as well. They got up to 88 remaining. There's still a high hill for them to climb here. They have a few specials on their side. There was an Inkzuka earlier. Here comes Mazapando, a favorite Mexican snack there. Gets a pick with I believe that was the splat bomb that gets the pick there, and actually got a double now on Fried Calamari. Calamariachi's looking to get control of the zone, and they do so. They're going to knock down that penalty point if they want to get themselves close to that knockout win, but they seem to have a pretty good hold on Fried Calamari for now.
Yeah, and they're trying to just keep that pressure on the plat as the crab does come out, trying to get one there. The squeezer able to get that one. The bubble there, putting good use on keeping them back. As the T-Tech, just painting, trying to keep the zone, those points take down. And if you're Fried Calamari right here, you've got to be hoping that you can get a pick or anything to try and get back in there. As 1-2 go down on the side of Fried Calamari, and all that, and as those points keep ticking down, they have to do one last-ditch effort to try and cap the zone, but they are unable to, giving the first game to Calamariachi.
And there it is. Zika, for what it's worth, not able to secure the win there for Fried Calamari. Calamariachi so far proving to be the dominant team as they got their first lead up to 4 points remaining. After that, Fried Calamari gets a little bit of a skirmish on the enemy plat. Not quite able to make too much of it though, as Calamariachi takes game 1. We're going to head into game 2 now, Museum de Alfonsino.
As we see this replay, we see, the points ticking down. We see the almost like stranglehold the Calamariachis have on this zone, and as they're, trying to push up, that machine, goes up, does a good job of trying to paint the zone. They pop their Booyah Bomb. It was just unfortunate they popped it right in the path of those tri-strikes and they get taken down. And then at this point, the Fried Calamari are thinking, oh, we got to go. We got to get in there and try and get it. And as you see the Zuka come out. Zuka being the meta special, not as good of paint as people expect.
And you can see the hallmarks of a desperation play there, as you see 3 players dropping down to try to paint over the zone, try to take some real estate there. Unfortunately, Calamariachi is able to shut that down. Game 2, Museum de Alfonzino has a similar geometry, similar shape to what Inkblot Art Academy had, so we could very well see Calamariachi's pick up the same comp. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a ballpoint from them, just because those fizzy bombs seem to do very well here, especially when trying to clear out lanes that surround the spinner. So I think we might be able to see that pick come out from them.
Yeah, I mean, ballpoint, always a good pick. The inkjet, like you said, can get so much use there. I mean, you could probably see a carbon here if anyone can pull that out, with the ledges and being able to do that. But with the thing with tower control, especially on Museum, is one thing you have to worry about is that second checkpoint. Because once they're past that second checkpoint, it's hard to get back into that. And Museum, famously known for being, like large scores that can be broken easily, being able to, keep control of the objective for a long period of time.
Absolutely. And one thing I've actually noticed from Calamariachi is one thing I want to talk about real quick. Oh, look there with the shot. I think it was the T-Tech there, playing with stick controls. Now, it's not totally unheard of, and actually I've seen stick control players do very well here, and it looks like we may have one example in Calamariachi's. There's the ballpoint I was talking about earlier in the Snipe Rider sticks there, and actually mini Splatling coming out. That's going to be the Zinc mini Splatling coming out from Fried Calamari in the purple there, and Calamariachi's coming out in the green.
Yeah, a huge switch from Calamariachi's. I did not expect that. But one thing I like to note here is that both teams having that bubble, something that's become a lot more prominent due to the Zuka meta, as we see here. Calamariachi's getting control, trying to push up, the BP being able to stop them, but the Zinc mini, able to just get there. The Booyah coming out on that crab. The crab does go down, and that allows Calamariachi's to be able to start pushing towards and getting that first checkpoint.
Yeah, popping crab on the Grace is a bit of a sneaky play there as Fried Calamari goes 2 down. You do get a lot of height advantage, but it gets very tricky to move around with. Bella now trying to sneak around a pick that flings up 3 players down now. That's a 4-4. Luck with the Flingzo roller. That's going to be a huge opening for Calamariachi's, who seems to be continuing their dominance heading into this 3rd checkpoint.
Yeah, the 3rd checkpoint, this is where the steamrolling starts happening, and as 2 go down on the side of Fried Calamari, and this crab is mainly out of desperation. They get 2, but will they get the people off the tower?
One more, they need to take Mazapan out, and they do.
Yeah, and that's big, because that'll mean that they get that control that they need. As you see, the person sharking going down, that's also huge. And as Fried Calamari, they're resetting this map, trying to get the control and get that control they need to push this tower.
Mazapan now having to back up just a little bit, but does have a lot of bomb pressure with the Splat Bomb. Splat Bomb comes out, it doesn't do much there, but they do go 3 down. Fried Calamari has the opening to your Tyrant King hopping onto the zone. That's going to be the Zimmy's in a bit of trouble. They do pop off. They do get a double there. Might be able to get a triple if they can get one on the Flingza on top of Spinner. Tlaloc there, able to reverse course for Fried Calamari. Calamari actually staying on top so far.
Yeah, but that was Calamariachi's 3 down, as that roller did eventually go down. The crowd coming out, and then that ballpoint keeping incredible pressure. Or the Zinc Mini, keeping incredible pressure, being able to play it both like a front line and a mid line, as the ballpoint, able to get one, help with another one, and stop and that Booyah Bomb stopping any push that Fried Calamari had, and forcing them back to mid.
A bit of an aggressive position there for the ballpoint, but you gotta remember that gives these other players from Calamari a bit of an opening. You saw Mazapan there, right behind the Spinner, able to use that Junior and maybe even the bombs to their advantage. That allows the ballpoint to pick off and clean off a few picks, and that allows the juniors to do the same. But the Zimmy there, getting a few quick picks. That's 2 players down now for Calamariachis. Fried Calamari looking to continue their push from earlier. They might need a few more players up because they're currently looking at lots of green paint in front of them. Here comes the Zimmy now in a similar aggressive position that we saw from the ballpoint on the other side. Bella now trying to get a few more picks up. Actually, all their players trying to get a few more picks. They do want 1 down on each side. It's still an open game. Fried Calamari continues control of the tower.
Yeah, and as that tower gets closer and closer to the lead, Calamariachi is getting way more worried and way more defensive here, trying to make sure that they can't do anything. And as that mini able to again keep an aggressive position, fight as if it were a Slayer, even though it's forcing out the Booyah Bomb as well. As this mini does eventually go down for the for Fried Calamari. And that is now 3 down on Fried Calamari. This is a great opportunity for Calamariachis to get map and mid control and be able to lock this out with a minute left.
A minute to go. This is going to be a crucial moment in the game for Fried Calamari. Calamariachis, what they're doing here is trying to get this tower deep in enemy territory, so they takes Fried Calamari just a little bit more effort to get themselves back into contention for the lead. 40 seconds left on the clock, and you see how much distance they're going to have to travel here. They did clear themselves the first checkpoint. They still have 1 more checkpoint to go if they want to get up to 1 remaining, which will get them the lead. But they do lose 1 player in the process. 2 players down now. It's the Snipe Rider in a bit of trouble there. Dante coming around with the Forge Pro, and not quite able to get the pick there. The Zimmy Splatling able to clean that up. 20 seconds left on the clock. There is a very dangerous spot here as you see a lot of green in front of the tower, but Calamariachis gets a delay triple on their end, so Fried Calamari still has an opening here.
Yeah, and with that roller going down, that opens the doors. This will definitely be their final push. As we go into overtime here, Fried Calamari set up in a really good spot right now, being able to look at every position and where everyone is, trying to make sure that people keep going down to be able to get the tower. And as we see that a fight on the tower, everyone on there trying to fall off, and Calamariachi able to save that game by a couple points.
Talk about a dogfight there. That was multiple people on top of the tower trying to make sure they can keep the tower in their favor. Calamariachis getting the better end of that fight, but Fried Calamari, don't count them out just yet. They seem to be doing very well here, making sure they can get the tower at least in enemy territory, especially with what Calamariachis was able to do earlier, getting that tower deep within enemy territory. They were getting themselves ever so close to there. You see themselves just approaching that 33 remaining spot, but with 5 seconds left on the clock, they still had a lot of pressure. That's actually 2 players down now. Fried Calamari does have what it takes to keep Calamariachis in check, but can we see it in this next matchup?
Yeah, I mean, as you see here, they're getting towards that 3rd checkpoint, that checkpoint that matters the most, and everyone just hops on trying to fight, trying to get it, and all the fights go in the favor of Calamariachis. And I'd also like to point out that we are 2 for 2 on fist bumps for Calamariachis right now as we go into Manta Maria Rainmaker.
That's a lot of teamwork on there, and I'm sure they've been working on those fist bumps as well, making sure they get it ready for the stream. We're going to look into Splatoon 31. Here's Tiamat now for Parallax. Parallax currently leading the game. They actually got a double now on Water Gang. Water Gang looking to get a game off, but Tiamat actually gets picked off by the Trizuka. That Trizuka has been a main... Actually, I don't think it's Trizuka. That was a heavy edit there. I was about to say the Trizuka was a mainstay. Maybe the heavy edit is... I don't know. It's been a while since I played in Splatoon, so just don't call me out on it.
Yeah, I mean, heavy edit is something that, a lot of teams could consider in the future. It is a very good cooler option. If it gets buffed, you could see, more uses. It's a very good mid-range poking tool. But, what are your thoughts on Manta Maria Rainmaker as we go into this 3rd game?
I think with the way Calamariachis has been playing so well now, I think they keep most of what they've been working with earlier. When I say that, I'm talking about the comps and the way they've been able to entrench themselves deep within enemy territory. Now, Manta Maria, for what it's worth, it does not have the exact same geometry as the last 2 maps. Manta Maria is very narrow, so there's less opportunities for flanks, even though there is more in this one in the way they've expanded some of the spots. But with Manta Maria, I think Calamariachi still has the upper hand here, but Fried Calamari, though, they could find themselves with more opportunities to stuff Calamariachis and get a bit more on their defensive side.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Rainmaker, Manta Maria, there's 2 different checkpoints. Both of them, there's like one safe option, one risky option. So if we see, you know, teams, you know, with the coordination, being able to, you know, try and get that like that right checkpoint, which is, you know, that jump checkpoint that everyone tries to go to when teams go 2 or 3 down. If either one of these teams can find that, they can be set up for a good final push there.
Good final pushes, which is what Fried Calamari, we saw that they had the ability to do those big pushes, and we're going to see if they have the ability to keep that up here as we head into Game 3. Rainmaker on Manta Maria. That's going to be Calamariachis into green. Actually, Blob comes out from Calamariachis. Fried Calamari brings out their own ballpoint, and actually bring out the Zimmy as well. And that's the hero shot, which is going to be the vanilla shot. You can expect some Trizukas coming out from them.
Yeah, and as both teams go for the pop, you know, the more painting power usually gets the pop here, so the Calamariachis get that pop. That Blob already in a precarious spot, but trying to get maybe a pick or 2 to try and get these pushes started. As one goes down, there's a trade right there on the side of both, as the Zimmy is, you know, in a weird spot here, as they're going to just ignore the Zimmy and go for the checkpoint.
Yeah, that's Zimmy in a precarious position. They could have tried to go for the flank there, and I believe that's what they were trying to go. Make sure they can add some pressure from the Zimmy in case that Rainmaker went to Fried Calamari's left side, which it did. But Calamari is able to make the best of that push, clear themselves from that first checkpoint. Now with Fried Calamari picking up the Rainmaker, they do have a bit of a struggle here as Mazapan has to try to get a few picks. That's also the Hydra splatling on top of the middle mast there. Pippi stuck on the first pedestal. They actually stuck with the Kraken now. They have a Kraken on their side, and that's also Mazapan there. But they do get the trade-off. Both teams find themselves 2 players down.
Yeah, but now it's a wipeout on the side of Fried Calamari, which gets them right back in this game. You know, people over-aggressing there, you know, something you wanna make sure you don't do. And as Fried Calamari sets up for their first push, like, they're going for that right checkpoint with almost no contention whatsoever. That bubble are able to come out to protect them, and the ballpoint gets 2, and looks like they're able to try and get the pop, but they're sandwiched from both sides, going 3 down and giving control back to Calamariachi.
The problem with that push there was that when 3 players go down, it was all left to the ballpoint. A ballpoint trying to pop in and see if they can try to sneak a push in. Unfortunately, that ballpoint goes down. Talalak here has been doing a very good job with the Kraken, and adding the pressure from the Kraken. Might be able to do the same here if they're able to pop it. They do pop it. That's 2 players down for Calamariachis. Fried Calamari getting the double with the Zuka from Tyrant King. 3 players down now for Calamariachis. Fried Calamari has the opening here. They can take care of Talalak, who's giving them a little bit of trouble. 3 players on 1, able to clear that stop. And might be able to get the lead here if they can sneak it past this pedestal. Not if Dante has anything to say about it. Staying strong there, but they do get the lead. Fried Calamari up to 41 points remaining, and a triple on Calamariachis to top it.
Yeah, but that was 3 down on both sides, and as Tyrant King reads the situation, he backs up. He's going to try and save that Zuka. He's using it now. Gets 1 over that wall right there, and, you know, unable to get more, but that's still a really good pick on that Blob.
Absolutely. Any pick with the Zuka there that you can make from a distance is going to be a good pick, because that means you don't have to get yourselves deep within enemy lines. And there was 3 players, I believe, surrounding that Rainmaker at the time. So Talalak is going to take the Rainmaker for now. That's 1 player down now for Fried Calamari. Talalak there still holding on strong. Isn't quite going for an aggro push here. Choosing to move it just slowly but surely, making sure they can chip away at the distance they need to get the lead. And here comes Talalak now trying to make a move. Tyrant King, does Tyrant King have anything to say about it? 1 player goes down. Tyrant King goes down. Bella there, able to clean that up, prevent that push from going any further.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that bubble caused not 1 person to die there, as it bounced off as the Rainmaker shot the bubble, and the area of effect damage was able to do that. But as we see Dante there keeping control, keeping that Rainmaker to Calamariachi, yeah. But as the Inkjet comes out, they're gonna try and push it and try and get that lead. They're so close, and they just get it as they go. As also Fried Calamari, that's a wipeout on Calamariachi's side. They're able to pop it. This could be the end of the game.
That is a huge push here for Calamariachis. They get a huge opportunity with the wipeout. Can they get the KO? Yes, they do. An incredible play there from Calamariachis. Once they got the wipeout, it was just go, go, go from there. Pick up the Rainmaker and just see how far you can carry it. And it pays off dividends for Calamariachis as they continue their streak here, going 3-0 against Fried Calamari.
Yeah, and you know, they were able to get that wipeout, and they were able to just continue keeping that pressure. You saw that 2 others went down in a last ditch effort attempt to try and save the Rainmaker and save the game. And as we see here, we see, you know, they're 2 down. Calamariachi is popping, the Inkjet trying to stop it. They were able to get the pop and get the lead here with this push. Through the bombs, through the Inkjet, through all the fire, and Fried Calamari going 3 down and eventually getting wiped out here, which sets them up for this final push and sets them up to be able to win this game.
And as much sub power as they have, or such bomb pressure as they have here, they do try to make a few plays on their own. Not enough for them to stop the tremendous push, getting Calamariachi's the win here as we head into Game 4, which is going to be pump back, pump track with Clam Blitz. I think both of these teams, Calamariachis is still running hot. They might just keep most of the same of what they've been doing. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Flings Overload come out of them. But here's another look at Splatoon 21. Parallax now tied against Water Gang, and we see both teams still working for here, big play here from Parallax, but this might be enough to get them just that extra point. But it looks like a good matchup here on Splatoon 21.
Meticulously placed right then there. A target aimed directly for the Rainmaker.
But enough of that. We're here for the actual matchup that matters, the Calamariachis versus Fried Calamari matchup as we head into Game 4. Remember, this is the stream that matters. No, I'm kidding. Here at Ludi Tonight, all streams matter, and I believe in all streams' rights.
Yeah, I mean, you know, good games on both ends. It seems, you know, that one's really close, but here on the actual Splatoon tourney stream, we have Calamariachis versus Fried Calamari. You know, it's 3-0, but that hasn't. I really don't think that's told everything so far. As we go here into Humpback Pump Track Clam Blitz Game 4.
And this is why it's so important to have stream matches like this, because even looking at a 3-0 score, we're able to see how well Fried Calamari did on Game 2, getting into that last minute overtime push with how far Calamariachis drove that tower into near the spinner. They actually got themselves, I believe, near their 33 remaining mark. So Fried Calamari still have the opportunity to make those big plays and make those big pushes. We saw a little bit of that in Manta Maria as well. But as long as they can get their defense in check, I think that's what's been disrupting them so far. Because once Calamariachis makes a big push, and just like we saw in Game 1 with Inkblot Zones, if they can get a big push, all they have to do is sit back and hit and switch on cruise control. If Fried Calamari can prevent those big pushes from happening, they can get themselves back on the right track.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. With Humpback, you know, it's unlike most of these other maps. This one, it's very hard to score, as the basket is in a very weird spot. You know, and you can only score from like right under the basket, making it a very precarious spot and a very open spot to getting picked off. So you'll see a lot of teams like to try and have one person go in, score, and get jumps to actually be able to score the clams. So, but most of these pushes will start if teams go 2, maybe even 3 down, and they get the advantage to actually push up and score.
Yes, and actually one thing I've noticed from playing in other matchups, and it was once a team gets at least one player down, teams that do the most after getting that slight advantage and just instantly turn on the accelerator, as those are the teams that are able to get most efficient pushes out. As we see heading into Game 4, Calamariachi is currently holding the lead, and in the yellow actually got the blob deco, so that gives him more popping power here for when it comes to any specials that Fried Calamari might be useful against the Kraken here that the 96 Gal Deco brings from Fried Calamari.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to know is that both teams have that Kraken that can also be used for Kraken cheese as fried calamari going 3 down already. That gives them so much space as the whale comes out targeting the last one. And that's so good for the side of Calamariachis as they have the ball. They have the clam economy. This push could be huge if they get another 2-3 down maybe.
And it's going to be another booyah pop from Rico. Actually might have the super jump in tow. Here's a Kraken here for good measure. Using that bubbler beacon to good measure as well. That's 80 points remaining. Now 71 points remaining. They don't have any clams to follow this up with, and they're looking at a Kraken looking directly at them. That Kraken is now expired, but they still get a few more clams in. That's 1 in. 68 points remaining. A good starting push for the Calamariachis. Fried calamari preventing that from going any further, which may be the key to their success here if they can keep those pushes from Calamariachis from going any further and doing any more damage.
Yeah, a good push indeed, but probably not enough to secure the victory. As we see here, the Zuka able to get one, the Junior going down, but that fifth, but they're in Calamariachi's base almost here, trying to just keep pressure so they can try and get these points in and try and get the lead, but that backfires on them immediately, as that's a wipeout for Calamariachis, and with the clam economy and the score. Which, in fact, they actually missed the ball. That wall bouncing them backwards enough for them to miss the ball there.
Oh, and that was the crucial moment there too. Just get themselves clear of those penalty points. They didn't have any clams to build another super clam with either, so they end up missing out on that push. That's actually 2 players down now for Calamariachis. Fried Calamari has the tactical already. They also have the Kraken ready whenever they're ready to make that push, but they do go 1 player down. There's a bit more hesitancy from Fried Calamari to make that push. They still have the tactical if they want to make another aggressive play. Should they be able to, this could be huge, but they go 2 players down now. Calamariachis getting the best of them, getting the best of that hesitation we saw earlier. Fly Lock there, able to build another super clam, get them up to 61 remaining, and they're going to start another push.
And as they keep coming in, Bomb, the Junior getting the trade, they do go 3 down here. But as you saw, Fried Calamari going 1 down, being a little bit more hesitant, trying to stay back, and Calamariachis punish them, capitalize off that, pushing 3 into mid and getting both of those and being able to start the score. And as we see 3 go down on Fried Calamari again, that is almost another wipeout, as the Kraken tries to save that, but unable to.
Oh, the Tlaloc there with a Blob Blobber. Doing very good with the Blob, I might add. He's been doing great through the whole matchup. Mazapan there, able to sneak by these Power Clam. 52 points remaining now for Calamariachis. They decide no longer going for those big plays now. As long as we can keep chipping away at those points remaining, we could keep Fried Calamari on their toes, and making sure they have this unrelenting offense here is going to pay off well for Calamariachis, as Fried Calamari has yet to find a response. In fact, they have yet to put some points on the board, but they might be able to find an opening here should they get this double on Hydra. Actually, Thalak here trying to go for a sneaky play. Everyone sees a danger there, tries to run away, and here's Pippi with the Power Clam, and there's going to be the opening for Fried Calamari.
Yeah, and they finally get that score, but there doesn't look like they're able to do much there as the Kraken trying to, help them and save them, keep them alive, but they're unable to do anything. As Calamariachi, again, just having so much, being able to just keep control, keep them from scoring. And we talked about how 68 was not a good start, a good push, or it was a good push, but not enough. But 52 might be the score that they need to win the game.
Yes, but as I've seen in competitive Splatoon, and as I've found out the hard way even, any lead in competitive Splatoon might not be a safe lead, but it looks to be pretty safe for Calamariachis as Fried Calamari finds themselves going triple. That's actually a delayed wipeout from Fried Calamari. Calamariachis keeps themselves on top. Here comes the killer whale from Dante, looking to get a pick on Bella, the ballpoint player. That could pay off well for them if they're able to take out the anchor player. That could give them a lot more openings, because now we have 3 shooters now, no anchors. Rico there with a Hydra, trying to clean up a few picks, able to take down the V shot, might be able to get a few more picks on the board. But since Fried Calamari does not have the Super Clam, that game is going to be going to Calamariachis, who is now 4-0.
Yeah, on match point, and I gotta be honest, that was a pretty dominant performance from Calamariachis. They seem to just know what Fried Calamari was doing at all times and being able to counter it. You were talking about how they were, they were able to they were playing it safe whenever they go down. I wonder if they were playing too safe at times, which allowed Calamariachis to be able to push up there. And as we see these final 20 seconds again.
There was a slight bit of hesitancy on the side of Fried Calamari, who I believe they know, and I mentioned this earlier about how each push has been starting with 2 players going down, maybe 3 going down from the opposing team. I think that's what Fried Calamari is waiting for, but in reality, what I've seen from teams that are so successful on offense is as soon as you have an opening from like any sort of advantage, whether it be in terms of numbers or in terms of map control, as soon as you see that, you have to start going. You cannot have any sort of hesitancy, especially in a game as fast-paced as this one. As we head into Game 5 on a Ludi Tonight favorite, Splat Zones on Barnisol and Dime.
Yes, Barnacle and Dime, a fan favorite of Ludi Tonight, and a personal favorite of mine. Personally, I think we should try and vote that this is how they spell it in the game, but that's just me. But as we see, it's Barnacle and Dime Splat Zones, another map, another mode that is easy to lock out on.
Absolutely, I like to call it the flatter version of Sturgeon Shipyard again for that same reason. Parallax now leading 2-1 against Water Gang. And it looks like another close matchup here. You see a lot of that in Division 4, especially with 2 similarly skilled teams. Water Gang did get an opening there, and they actually have a few more now, so they might be able to move themselves up to 2-2. It's going to be on Splatoon 31, and actually get a few more points there. So this is going to be a very exciting matchup we're seeing in Splatoon 31. But as for what we have right here, Calamariachis staying on a roll here, 4-0. They could be able to clean this one up here.
Yeah, Calamariachis 4-0, looking to be 5-0 perfect in their group, in the group stages of Ludi. And that would, not only secure them a top spot in playoffs, which they've already secured, but it would secure them a very good seeding in the playoffs, able to, they would have, easier opponents to get to that finals.
I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm going to restate here. If Fried Calamari does end up losing this matchup, they're going to have to rely on this Hoot Hoot Recruits versus Axolotl Anarchy matchup. Since Fried Calamari has already got 1 win over Axolotl Anarchy, actually no, Hoot Hoot Recruit. Yeah, they got a win over Hoot Hoot Recruits. So if Hoot Hoot Recruits does win that one, that means Fried Calamari will get the higher seeding just based off of tiebreakers. So Hoot Hoot Recruits has to win this next one if Fried Calamari loses this one, although I'm sure they're going to be looking for that breathing room, and right now they're going to be looking for a reverse sweep. This is always the best place to gain momentum, because once you get that reverse sweep going, it becomes, not only does it become scary for the opposing team, that boosts morale for your own team.
Yeah, and the mental's probably really bad right now going into this game. What most likely, the captains, any coaches there would be saying is, take deep breaths, reset the mental, and get ready for this game. As Barnacle and Dime Zones can be, it's definitely a free-for-all, anyone's game as we head into this 5th game.
And here we go, Splat Zones on the Ludi Tonight map of maps. Barnacle and Barnisol and Dime, Calamariachis in the magenta, as I was about to say purple for a reason, but it's actually the blob deco coming out. So they keep the Kraken. Fried Calamari opting for a more conservative approach. They have the Wave Breaker, the Bubbler, and the Crab, and they also have what I believe was the that's the Trizuka coming out from them. So they're going to keep it conservative, make sure they can try to catch Calamariachis off guard. There's actually the Loteria coming out now for Calamariachi, so they make a switch on players as well, and it looks to be working out on the side of Fried Calamari as you get 2 players down there and you're going to start moving up. Tyrant King with the curling bomb to try to get things going.
Yeah, and that Kraken coming out right there, probably it gets 1, but that's not as big of a worry because that shot was pushing up for a reason. The blob able to get down, but that's 2 down on Fried Calamari. Now you have to start being worried. And as the E-Liter and the Splash starts back up, the Splash saving the Crab right now, trying to and trying to, use it now to keep that zone capped.
Here's Tyrant King now making a few plays on their own. That's one player goes down, 2 players going down for Calamariachis. This is the best move here from Calamariachis. Fried Calamari, though, stays with control of the zone, keeps it at 49 remaining. They do have a penalty. There's some penalty points to clear out first, but they should be able to clear those out very quickly, unless they get a few players going down there. There's the V shot going down. The Wavebreaker starts to come out. Actually, go 1 player down Calamariachis. So that's 2 players down on each side so far. We do see a few respawns going, but here's going to be a triple for Fried Calamari. This is going to be the push that they needed to get things going in this set.
And that was a delayed wipe as that roller is able to shark it in that bubble and get 2. Nobody is suspecting a single thing. And this is the start of the lockout for Fried Calamari. The Zuka getting 1 and then deciding to take a dip. It felt pretty hot and needed to cool off there.
And it looks like they've been staying pretty hot. That's going to be a 4-1 for Fried Calamari. Does take 1 game off, says we're not going to back down just yet. Again, this could be the start of the reverse sweep mentality I've been talking about here. Because now Calamariachis has been on a roll so far. But now Fried Calamari comes out. This is a KO within a few minutes, even a couple of minutes. So Fried Calamari now has 1 set off of Calamariachis. Those Calamariachis, what they need to do here is just keep things together, keep things close, and keep things simple. Fried Calamari now have a jump start. This is going to start help boosting them, giving them hope that they still have what it takes to bring the fight to Calamariachis. Now that they've taken 1 game off, now it's just working those small steps. Can we get 2? Can we get 3? This is going to be the key for them.
Yeah, and as you see again, that Zuka getting 1 and then the knockback, sending it into the water, overall didn't really matter as they were able to, keep that locked out and keep them locked out, getting kill after kill, able to KO it. But, as you said, Fried Calamari getting that win, they got to try and get the reverse sweep here. Their mental is probably way better now. We were talking about that before the last game. The reset probably happened there. Coach, again, captain, talked to them. And Sturgeon TC is definitely going to be good.
Speaking of Barniesel, here's the view from Parallax versus Water Gang. 2-2 now. So they're still at a tie. They're still at a tie here. A tiebreaker needed for either side. And it looks like this might be the one that Parallax gets, as they do get a few picks there. But this is another exciting matchup that we've got at Splatoon Tourney 1. Both teams, I think Parallax has been a favorite in what I've seen from the Looney Fantasy picks. I see a lot of Parallax in that list. So they're certainly coming in as some of the favorites. Water Gang, though, looking to get the best of Parallax. They're keeping them at close range, not only in terms of their comps, but with the score as well.
Yeah, like you said, keeping it close, I guess, is something you could say here as Parallax gets close to the end here, able to switch it. But as, again, that match on Splatoon Tourney 1, not Splatoon Tourney, Splatoon Tourney 1, it's very close set. You'll want to tune in after this set is over, but you want to stick around for the other sets as well.
A nice way to take a break.
Onto this set here. Sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a good way to take a break if this set ends before the next set. It's a nice way to spend the time on the break, because I'm sure that game, by the way it's looking, it's certainly going into the deeper rounds. We're going to see maybe Game 7, Game 8. We might even see a Game 9 come out of them. So it's a nice way to take a break from this set, wait until Aquatic Vanguard and Sub Power Up join us. But for now, it's going to be Game 6 on Sturgeon Shipyard, which I like to call a very vertical barnacle and dime, just because it's also a lockout map. And you actually have more, I think you have more flank routes here and more opportunities for your team to open up and get some things going on offense, which is what Fried Calamari is going to need, because they've been trying to work those offensive pushes here. And if it's going to be any place for them to get started, it's going to be here on Sturgeon Shipyard.
Yeah, and as we see the Pro coming out, the Forge Pro coming out, the Kraken Roller on Fried Calamari, and like you said, this map does have flanks, a rarity in a game like this where the map design is something. But as we get in here, the ball point taking control of that top, the gray area, trying to just shoot and pressure any opponents that are coming by.
Bella there, and with the tactical now, and with the end zap, the tactical being popped to get Fried Calamari's going on the side of the offense. But Dante, if he has anything to say about it, with the Booyah Bomb, Mazapan now on the tower, going to be forced to back off themselves, jumps out, does so successfully. Fried Calamari has control of the tower for now. They actually also have an Inkzuka to back that up. Does get one pick, and this should be the opening push for Fried Calamari.
Yeah, but as you see, right as that shot dropped, the Flanger roller, was there to stop it, and while the Kraken's getting that roller, that's most likely all they're gonna do. That Junior in a very bad spot right now with 2 people on them going down, and Fried Calamari looking like honestly a whole different team here, being able to keep pressure and keep control like they were like Calamariachi's was in the first 4 games.
Talk about a turnaround here for Fried Calamari, and this is going to be the turnaround they've needed to make this reverse sweep happen if they can, but not if Rico has anything to say about it this time. The Bellado going for the flank on the Inkvac. Can they get it? They do. That's a huge push. That's a huge pick there by Bella. If they can get this flings as well. Tyrant King coming in with the assist. The alley-oop there from the Kraken. Just going to have to sit there, see how far they can get that tower before having to back off for the Booyah Bomb coming in from Dante with the Forge Pro. So far, Fried Calamari keeping that. I have to say, they've been keeping the tower deep within the enemy fields there. And I don't think, actually, Calamariachis hasn't been able to get a single point so far. But this could change if they can get an opening here.
Yeah, but in opening, it looks like they will not find as soon as someone goes down on Fried Calamari. Fried Calamari, they're able to trade each other out and able to keep the numbers game on their side. You see that Kraken coming out, and like, this is something that you'd see like a lot of teams do, is just try and be in front of that tower to be able to protect it.
I think they see the danger here from Mazapan and what they've been able to do with that Junior. That's a triple now for Fried Calamari. Calamariachi's looking in a more precarious spot as ever. As that point remaining quickly goes down. That's another KO for Fried Calamari. Way to get things started. Fried Calamari looking like they're getting themselves back into the driver's seat as they go now 4-2 on the set.
Yeah, and whatever pep talk they had there, I might need that, because what a pep talk it was. Being able to get these next 2 games when you're down, mentally, when you're down in the score and you think it's all over, being able to keep trying to push and stuff and keep trying to get the win. It seems to be working for them, as here we see that final push. We see the I think that's the Junior trying to flank there, unable to get anything, but trying to pressure them. They pop the bubbler, which quickly gets destroyed because the tower was right there and the zap was shooting at it. And you see them go 3 down at the ball point, unable to do anything. The wipeout, and at that point you're thinking, oh, it's just over.
I just noticed this. Maybe this isn't important for the rest of the set, but it's important for me, noticing that the E-leader named Lur, very great Futurama reference. I'm going to have to give you props for that. I do enjoy the naming conventions here. So, and in terms of naming conventions, I think Scorch Gorge is a pretty good one, just because you are set in Splatsville. There's a lot of deserted areas around here. They call it the City of Chaos for a reason. I think that's because of some Splatfest thing that happened a long time ago. But Game 7 is going to be happening very soon. That's going to be Scorch Gorge on Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge.
Yeah, I mean, Rainmaker Scorch Gorge is I don't know like specifically how to say it. It's a very even map, I'd say. But if you get control, you definitely get control. You'll see first pushes go down to 30s and the 20s, be evaporated due to one wipe or 2. You'll see like people fighting it out in mid for 1, maybe 2 minutes for the pop. It's this is one of the maps where anything can happen, such as in Splatsville and in hot weathers, I guess.
I would know way too much about hot weather. Thanks, Texas. I like the fact that I had 102 degrees summer. Actually, no, it was probably a lot harder than that. But the good news is that it's now fall. Sometimes. And the good news is that for Fried Calamari, they still have a lot of opportunities where they can get the push is going to get the offense going. Now I know they focus mainly on getting a lot of people around the objective. There's still a lot of space for them to do it, but I would like to see a bit more openings from them and see them try to make their own plays as we get into Game 7 now. Calamari still on match point, but Fried Calamari gaining more momentum as we go. That's going to be Calamari in the teal and Fried Calamari in the orange.
Yeah, and as we get here in our Rainmaker, Calamari is trying to rain on the comeback that Fried Calamari is starting here. As we see the pop going Calamari, which is a good source of control, and they're going to try and push it a bit early as that E-leader able to get one and reposition itself in a spot that's more suitable for its range.
Yes, great job there from Lur, who's going to get a few more picks. Might be able to get a pick on the Rainmaker here. Actually, the backup does so just in time to avoid that Rainmaker splat, that Rainmaker explosion. Does actually get one, as now it's just Dante left on the Rainmaker, who has to go down. Actually backs off to reset the Rainmaker. Might be a good play on their end, just so that gets things going for Calamari Archies, as now we know what to expect from Fried Calamari, but Fried Calamari does have the improved field advantage. But as I say that, Mazapan and Dante both go down after getting one player down themselves. Here comes Tlaloc now. That's going to be a Kraken duel right next to the pedestal. We're going to be bumping into each other like it's a bumper car game, and actually see a more bumping there. And here's the Booyah Bomb, right, trying to pop it, does do so. That's still a numbers advantage. Doesn't last long for Calamari though, as both teams go one player down.
Yeah, but Calamari is getting 2 down. However, that 52 does go down, but that 2 down gives them the advantage. As you see the Tyrant King, that roller sharking there, looking to get a play if the Rainmaker starts to push. As you see, the Zuka comes out, being able to get the Rainmaker, but the Blob positioning, unable to get anything with it other than, I think, the sniper there. And that is Calamari 3 down.
Goodness, and we were talking earlier about how dominant Calamari was. They're struggling to find the same kind of dominance they were finding earlier, but Fried Calamari on a roll so far. However, it would say Fried Calamari hasn't scored a point yet. This could change in this next push here, as they do have a few more specials ready. Here they're trying to get the pick on Dante. There's 2 players down now. They need to get things going here. They're still looking at a bunch of teal ink right in front of them. They're going to need to clear that very quickly. They're going to need to clear Kraken as well. Here comes Tlaloc with the Kraken. Could spell danger here as they do take out the E-leader. Can they get a few more picks with it? Actually, the Rainmaker goes down as well. Bella no longer on hold there. 2 players go down. They're going to be forced to back up. Calamari, they haven't gotten past the first checkpoint, but they still look like they're able to get a good hold of this game so far.
Yeah, but as we say that roller that's been sharking all around, getting 3 and trying to get the quad, getting the quad.
Oh,
the roller
wow.
gets all 4 members, and that is huge. If you're Fried Calamari, you want to start pushing now and keep pushing until you get that lead.
Yes, this is the time to go. This is the time to get things going. You still need to clear that second checkpoint, but Bella's backing off just a little bit more. They need to get that distance there. They have the distance from the Rainmaker. Not going to work in their favor, though. They only get to 90 points remaining. That was a huge opportunity for Fried Calamari. Calamari though, able to put a stop to that before it gets any worse for them. But there comes the Rainmaker yet again for Fried Calamari. Fried Calamari, can they get the pick here that they need? Can they get the push that they need? Just barely survives the Rainmaker. Can they survive the Blob standing right in front of him? Lots of pressure here from Calamari. Can they get the lead? They do. They clear the first checkpoint as well.
And what movement from the side of Fried Calamari able to get that checkpoint and go taking Calamari 3 down. And I thought that I was going to have to talk about being scared whenever they go 1 down, but they just prove anything I was going to say, keeping the aggression up and keeping that lead.
They're no longer scared. I mean, you saw a lot of pressure there and a lot of output there from Calamari. Fried Calamari right next to the pedestal. They have the wipeout. They have the KO. That's now 4-3 on this set. Fried Calamari looking as strong as ever, getting ever so closer to that reverse sweep.
Yeah, reverse sweep, a rare thing to see both in Ludi tonight and Ludi in general, but we might see it here tonight as Fried Calamari getting it together and able to start the comeback needed to be able to win this set and guarantee themselves a spot in these playoffs.
Oh my goodness. We talk about Fried Calamari needing a safety net, maybe a little cushion there, some breathing room. just for them to get into the playoffs. They needed some breathing room here, going down 4-0, but it looks like they might not actually need it because they seem to be making a reverse sweep of their own. Hopefully, there's no commentator's curse going on here, because I would love to see this game go on to a Game 9. Look at how closely they've been able to do this, and they quickly get rid of that fear they had, that hesitancy they once had. See how Tyrant King pushing up with Lure there, able to clear the last checkpoint, get the knockout. It looks like they no longer have that hesitancy. They notice the situation here, know how important it is, and that's going to pay off very well for them as we head into Game 8 now for Rablag Capital Clam Blitz.
Yeah, and like you said, that that experience, that pressure, unable to, or like they stop the pressure now.
I'm looking at Parallax and Water Gang. It looks like Parallax is in a similar situation, currently holding on to the lead. Water Gang looking for the response there, as long as Daddy Briar doesn't fall into the water. Good thing they didn't, because Parallax still holding a numbers advantage there, but it looks like we're in two different situations here. At first, we saw a close game between Parallax and Water Game. Parallax trying to get away with this one, but here in that's going to be on Splatoon Tourney 1. Here in Splatoon Tourney, we're seeing what could potentially be a reverse sweep from Fried Calamari, unless Calamariachi still has anything to say about it. Remember, they're still on match point. All they have to do is take one game away, and they can win the whole set, but Fried Calamari has been on a roll so far.
Yeah, they've been rolling through these maps, getting wins and wins. We'll have to see if that keeps up. But one thing I want to point out that we've been talking about is the hesitancy that was on Fried Calamari. Now it seems to be gone. They've been pressuring more. They've been pushing up more. You saw in that Scorch Gorge when they got the wipeout. They didn't even get the wipeout. They only got like 2, and they started going for that final goal there, and then able to get the wipeout to confirm that KO.
Absolutely, and I was talking earlier about how all it takes for one of these teams is one big push. It looks like Fried Calamari recognizes the situation here. I was talking earlier about how Calamariachis hadn't gone past that first checkpoint. I think they're starting to notice that. They're starting to notice that if they can get those big plays, they can stop those big plays from happening. Fried Calamari is more than available to respond with a push of their own, and we're going to see how it plays out here. Game 8, remember, it's still Calamariachi's game match point here. Fried Calamari, though, they're the ones with the momentum heading into Game 8.
Yeah, and Calamariachi's 2 more chances to finish this set. But Fried Calamari saying, no, I don't think you will. I want to win this. I want that playoff berth. And as we see the fight starting on mid, Rablag Capital, a map, we didn't talk about it much, but a map that's used to steamrolling, very, very open and big. We see the E-Litter going down early there, which is pretty good on the side of Calamariachis, and they seem to have a good control of this map so far as we start this map.
Here comes Talalak now trying to pops the Kraken. Another Kraken duel happening in mid so far. But it looks like Tyrant King is going to get the better end of this Kraken duel for now. 2 players down now. Might be 3 if they can take care of Talalak, who actually takes care of the Kraken roller. That's Talalak all on their own. Fried Calamari gets the double, but not with Calamariachis responding with a pick of their own. Still scoreless as we head through the first minute. Still anyone's game here, as Calamariachis is still looking to close this game out. Fried Calamari is still looking as strong as ever. They do go 2 players down now. That's 1 player down now for Calamariachis as Dante there runs into the suction bomb.
Yeah, and you'd think with all these Kraken battles they were like synchronized swimming. But as we continue in this match, that's another one down on the side of Fried Calamari. That's the pressure that Calamariachis needs. No hesitancy. The Kraken being almost forced to pop out, getting 1, able to almost get 2 there, getting 2, and that's 3 down on the side of Calamariachis. Lost the roller going down, but that's still huge on the side of Fried Calamari, able to keep that space and be ready to start a push.
Oh, 1 player going down to the auto bomb there. Rico able to sneak by 1 more pick. It was Rico all on their own, but as long as they can get that pick, that's another slowdown for Calamariachis. Fried Calamari, though, still has the advantage in terms of clams, but not if Thunderluck has anything to say about it. They do throw away the power clam, actually the power clam just to get things going, make sure they can get the Kraken going as well. That's the opening push for them. They did have a few more clams in tow. There's another super clam that gets thrown into the basket. That's 57 points remaining for Calamariachis. They do have the opening push here, but Fried Calamari able to back off the Hydra before things get any more dire for Fried Calamari. Calamariachis holds the advantage for now, but it's been a close game so far.
Yeah, close it has. The first push coming 3 minutes into the game, and Fried Calamari looks to be starting to push. They have that ball already. Dante, the 52, going down. That's 3 down on the side of Calamariachis, but the Hydra able to get the ball and able to keep their hopes alive of keeping this game safe. Getting another one, but the jump coming in, the ball missing, barely off target.
Oh, and that's a crucial play there from Fried Calamari. Although I'm not sure if they would have had anything to follow it up with it, though. There was only one player there right next to the basket when that clam was thrown, so they didn't have that many clams to respond with to begin with. But that means they have more time to reset themselves, more time to get the specials ready and get the ingredients ready for another push that they can cook up. As Bella there actually gets picked off by Rico with the Hydra splatling. It's a dire situation yet again for Fried Calamari as they find themselves in a similar situation as we did see in the first 4 games. Calamariachis has the advantage here, has a few splats going their way. Rico now going in with the power clam. They do clear themselves at that 21-point penalty score, but they do have one more penalty point remaining and they don't have any clams to follow it up with. So that's going to be another power clam for the side of Fried Calamari.
Yeah, and that ball we saw sneaking in there without the Kraken, able to get in there. As we see the control is staying on the side of Calamariachis, trying to end this set as quick as possible, trying to get the KO. The 52 popping that newly buffed whale, trying to get anything, but not able to do it. The Kraken coming out here, trying to keep the pressure as 2 go down on the side of Fried Calamari, and Calamariachis showing the dominance that they were showing in those first 4 games.
But they do go 2 players down. Rico backing up. Could this be another super jump into making? Dante sure seems to look like it, but they do go down as well. This is going to be another dire 30 seconds for Fried Calamari. This could mean a lot for their playoff chances as well, but they do go down. Rico now getting the pick on Fried Calamari. It's going to be a Calamariachi's game to lose from here. 20 seconds left on the clock. Calamariachi's holding strong. They do have the Booyah Bomb at the ready whenever Fried Calamari tries to make that push. Should they try to do so? That's 2 players down, now 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and they're throwing. They accidentally threw the ball, but they were trying to throw clams, and that gives 3 to Bella. Bella able to get a power ball, and that's the Hydra down. That could be huge. As Fried Calamari, though, are 2 down. That's a stop.
Oh, that's a stop here. Unless they can get that sneaking in. Unless they get that stuck in. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and what almost was a terrible situation for Calamariachis turned into an even worse situation for Fried Calamari as Calamariachis takes the set 5-3 in an entertaining set, might I add.
And I was talking about defense when we needed it. That was Calamariachis' game there, because Fried Calamari showed the ability to do so in the last 3 games, but Calamariachis brings it back where it counts. And they take the set 5-3, and that's going to be an undefeated regular season for Calamariachis as they head into the playoffs. Fried Calamari now going to look for Hoot recruits to win their set. But as we see here, Fried Calamari recognizing the dire situation they're in, recognizing the desperation starting to settle in for them. All Dante has to do is might get a few more picks, but not enough for them. And actually not enough for Fried Calamari either, because they do miss that jump there. That's going to be crucial for them.
Yeah, and right before this happened, the Hydra was trying to get rid of Clam so that Bella couldn't make a ball, but they accidentally threw their power ball off and then immediately died, which let Bella get those 7 clams, and then they dropped to try and get the 8th and get that ball. But as they grouped up, everyone was respawning on Calamariachis, and they were able to defend that really well.
And with that set being done, first I want to say congratulations to Calamariachis. And as a fellow Mexican myself, I want to say a huevo. Anyway, but great job there from Calamariachis there. Fried Calamari, though, great responses. But we're going to have to quickly toss it over to Falco because we got another set coming up for y'all. Aquatic Vanguard versus Sub Power Up. And that's going to be it from us. I'm Nito. You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Twitch at Nito and News. Jake, where can the people find you?
The lovely people can find me on Twitter at JakeRoot0 and all around the Splatoon 3 Twitch category. As like you said, we have Aquatic Vanguard versus Sub Power Up. I hope you guys enjoy Saf and Toma commentating as we send it back to Falco.
All right, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Nito. Yeah, that was a fun set to watch. Calamariachi seemed really dominant in those first few games, and Fried Calamari turned up the heat, but Calamariachi's coming out in that Game 8 win. Very impressive. But yes, coming up, we have a Division 4 matchup, Aquatic Vanguard versus Sub Power Up. Saf and Tomo will be joining us on the mic. You guys don't go anywhere. This one will start momentarily. You are watching Ludi Tonight on Splatoon Tourney. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ludi Tonight. Happy Sunday night, everybody. My name is Falcoflyer, joined here with Saf and Toma, and we have a fun set tonight, guys. This is going to be really exciting. Aquatic Vanguard versus Sub Power Up. I believe, like, two teams that we have just loved to see dominate kind of in the mid-level scene of Splatoon. Aquatic Vanguard recently getting banned from Low Inc. from this new Ludi season coming out. Sub Power Up, formerly iTap, is still making a good run for it. So, gonna be a fun set. Saf, how are we doing tonight? How are you?
You know, Falco, doing pretty good. Sunday night, kind of have a little bit of the Sunday scaries for those of us that have to go to work and our school tomorrow, so not really feeling that, but you know what? I got squash soup. I'm in soup mode. I'm in soup mode, baby. And I got really nice bread.
It is soup season indeed. Toma, do you have anything to show off? Saf had her cat and now soup. I don't know if you have.
If you want to see, it doesn't look very appetizing, but like,
well, let's.
It's homemade. It's homemade from the garden.
Oh,
I had ravioli with some garlic bread earlier, but that's in my stomach now, so I don't think you want to see that.
Yeah.
So
you know, let's.
You want to just like throw up real quick?
No.
the before pictures would have been better. But yeah.
What about afterwards?
I'll post them. I'll post them in foodies.
Perfect.
In you know.
Yeah. So again, this one is going to be a lot of fun. You know, Aquatic Vanguard, I don't know about their core roster, but we've seen them play at LANs, seen some of their members play at LTC. Sub Power Up, a lot of their members go to Riptide too, so we know a lot of these players personally, Saf and Toma, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to it, honestly, and especially looking at this record too. Toma, check it out, 3-0 for Aquatic Vanguard. Looking for that 4-0 tonight. Sub Power Up, hey, maybe trying to look for that 2-2 record. Who knows? But on the opening with Splat Zones on, what is it, Inkblot Art Academy? Oh my God! As I said, the Sunday scaries, we're going back to school.
Yeah, they're wasting no time here, Saf. And you know what I see there? I'm gonna comment on one every time I see it. I see a 10 umbrella coming out on the side of Sub Power Up. That's gonna be a really interesting pick there. Gonna be really good at guarding this zone. You can already see they're trying to make a move on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, that 10 shield gonna be demolished by that splat wall that's out there. And you've already got a Zuka and Strikes out on the side of Aquatic Vanguard, looking to try to take control of this zone from Sub Power Up right now, but just trades going out right now in the middle. 2 down on Sub Power Up. Aquatic Vanguard does find the flip.
Yeah, Aquatic Vanguard having strong presence on this opening. I mean, look at that. You have Ike and you have Twig already getting set up on that middle tower there. The lead now being flipped right there. But you can see Sub Power Up still having really good control of their own plat areas. So Aquatic Vanguard is playing this very carefully. They're just going to kind of throw some bombs, maybe throw some specials up there, trying to keep Sub Power Up away from coming down into that middle zone area. And look at that. The this way coming out. Mizuno going down. Aspen going down right after by Nerd. Nero, check that out. What an awesome Zuka play going on there. But, I mean, look at this. The Aquatic Vanguard is just snowballing forth through this first game, Toma.
Yeah, here on the side, Gasical trying to make a move on the side of Sub Power Up to get back here into the zone. They had that Zuka up, but are going to be forced to jump out. Now they're kind of in do or die territory, and another one goes down to Twig standing up there, just keeping excellent look over the plat of Sub Power Up. Not going to give them any space to move forward there, Saf.
Yeah, Sub Power Up, I'm thinking, has learned a lot from this first match, Toma. Went pretty quickly for them for sure, but now kind of knowing, all right, where's that backline going to put themselves? Okay, where's the front line going to put themselves? Okay, they had Tri-Strikes online, and every time anybody tried to break into the plat, Tri-Strikes were right there waiting for us. So again, just taking that information, taking what you've learned, going into the second game, moving on to the museum on tower control. How are they going to be able to switch it up? But look at this replay here. 40 seconds to go on the clock for Aquatic Vanguard. You could see Gasical was trying to get something cooking here with this tent prelate, but the tent running into the little block there was probably unfortunate. Not really getting a lot of painting power, thinking that they were hoping for, but they did have that Zuka online, but opted to jump out, and which is really great, especially if you find yourself in a 2-down situation and you have the room to jump out. But I mean, Aquatic Vanguard just being able to flush themselves out, spread out thin, preventing anybody from using that platform to their advantage. I mean, it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, and I think the key here, going forward, especially on museum tower control, this is a leader map. Saf, you got Museum Infamous as the leader map. And Twig is such a great player at that, and Twig is going to be able to hold down space really well on this map, use those long sight lines to be able to just make sure that you aren't able to approach any part of Aquatic Vanguard's base until you take Twig out. And that's really going to be key from what I need to see Sub Power Up do. Make a game plan. How are you going to take out Twig? Once you have Twig down, you can kind of start moving. You have a little bit more free space. It gives you, more space to move around that bottom pit area to find those fights in mid. Because right now, if you expose yourself and you're taking a firefight with a shooter, the Twig's gonna snipe you off. So you need to get a Zuka, get something up to get Twig out.
Yeah, you can't really trust. I feel no matter what division you're in, if there is some sort of backline such as an E-leader or a Hydra Splatling or something with so much reach, you really can't trust that maybe they won't hit me if I go face forward into the mid zone. You can't really trust that. You have to respect that the backline is there and respect that, hey, you know what, I am at risk here if I go out into the open. But then once you can kind of assess the damage with that, it's just kind of how you're going to use the space for yourself. Not really any comp changes coming out from Aquatic Vanguard, though, and it looks like the exact same for Sub Power Up, too. We're still holding on to that 10 Prel, and we're running a ballpoint with it as well, Toma.
Yes, I am really excited to see that come out. It can be a really good play. Ballpoint, still a really, really solid option for backliners. Not as, dominant on this map specifically as A-leader, but it has the versatility of being a little bit more mobile. You can already see it there moving forward and finding a nice pick onto Twig, which is exactly what they need to do. Now Sub Power Up is in a great position over here, but unfortunately going 2 down. Astrom here is going to be trying to take this fight, trying to see if they can snipe one more person before their Inkjet landing, and unfortunately not going to be able to do so, but kind of dodges and gets the jump out. Very impressive keeping their life there, but Aquatic Vanguard now is in control of this tower.
Yeah, and taking first checkpoint pretty easily. They're already moving up into the platform area once again of Sub Power Up. You can see the Killer Whale going off. Displacement, huge displacement tool, pushing Gasicle into the corner, and Mizuno goes down in the process too. But you can see Sub Power Up isn't going to let it go just yet, Toma. They're trying to push up here. Gasicle looking for the opening to get the Tower Rider off of the tower. But look at that, a nice Trizuka shot, once again taking Astrom out of that top elbow area. You can see Kuroki and Mizuno trying to team up together to push up and just preventing the push from going any further, and especially with Gasicle to kind of be up in the corner to try to get some poking damage as well. Down to the 8 mark for Aquatic Vanguard, so Sub Power Up trying to get some paint back in the middle section and looking to see if they can make a push of their own here.
Yeah, now they've got a lot of space to go in front of them, and unfortunately going down one down on both sides here in the mid-fight. The 52 here going to find a pick on Koreki there and move in on Gasicle. The shield coming up at just the right time, going to force Sinnoh to back up here, but they do have a splash wall to work with themselves in this fight. And now Gasicle's just forced to kind of reposition to continue to take these fights. Does end up finding a nice splat on to Sinnoh there, but right now Sub Power Up doesn't really have control of that tower, and with 2 down on both sides, it's not really a time to make a play for the objective. But Gasicle there with a great pick as well, has this Zuka up too. It may be Sub Power Up's opportunity to get moving, and they need to get this tower rolling within 2 minutes 40 seconds left in this game. They need a score, especially with all this land in front of them. They're at checkpoint 1. It looks like they're going to be able to break it here pretty uncontested, and now the real push is going to start here as they start to go up towards checkpoint 2.
I just learned something new here, Toma. I learned that if you're lucky, the Brella Shield will cancel a splash wall throw if you are holding onto it before it launches off. That was really neat to see by Gasicle, and also want to note that Gasicle was before they went down was currently with a 3 splat streak, so that's got to be looking super good for them. But look at this, Aquatic Vanguard now in a 3 down scenario. Twig, the last man standing, and the juice going to be popped for Sub Power Up. So Sub Power Up, this is their moment to get this tower pushed and to make up these points that they were missing. Mizuno going to opt to push up and just take the risk and taking Twig down to their success. You can see Sinnoh trying to come around the right-hand flank and see if they can get that tower away from that second checkpoint, but to no avail. The second checkpoint has now fallen. With the Tri-Strix coming out too, Astrum is being walled out from helping out with that tower. Mizuno unfortunately going down, not quite able to make the escape that they were hoping for. Down to the 30 mark now for sub power up, and Aquatic Vanguard is here to follow up.
Yeah, absolutely huge push, and it really helped that, you know, they waited that out patiently, waited for Mizuno to come back in. You saw that they were just trying to avoid those bombs on the tower. Once Mizuno's jump landed, they were able to just finish off the checkpoint and move forward off that push. It was a really great play for them there. Unfortunately, you know, just getting picked, and when you have a push down to 8, you have to go really far to take that back. With 30, nothing shabby right now, but a minute left in this game, and the tower in possession of Aquatic Vanguard, 2 down on sub power up at the moment. They need to find these picks on to this tower. Mizuno taking the fight right up here to Twig. Twig trying to get the kind of wall jump snipe there, unfortunately missing it. And Mizuno going down to Twig, actually. Kureki finishing Twig off, but Ike quickly trades them out, and now just this struggle for the tower ensues as it looks like Gasic was able to force them off the tower, but definitely hasn't forced them all the way back. You still see presence from Aquatic Vanguard in mid, and notably you see Twig up there on that top left-hand side. Won that charger as well, who's going to be looking at this tower with just 18 seconds remaining. Going to be trying to pick off anybody who dares to step on it.
Absolutely. They got to play it super careful here with Toma. 10 seconds is not a lot to work with, and they do have the distance disadvantage at their disposal. And it looks like sub power up, they know, I mean, Aquatic Vanguard knows that sub power up has to make a move here. They got to do something. And you can see Twig has their sights set on that tower, but with Astrum being out and trying to push them away to get them as far away from that tower as possible, they're going to be mostly successful, but just not quite to any avail. Someone is able to jump on that tower. Aquatic Vanguard taking it to 2-0.
That's the classic GG strikes right there, Saf. You know, thrown at the tower, what are you going to do? You don't have an option as the offensive team. You have to back off. You cannot stay in those strikes. You're going to go down. And unfortunately, when you're, you know, a team like Aquatic Vanguard, you're going to have somebody ready. That call was made. They were pushed up and just like, hey, as soon as that first strike hits, I'm going to hop right on.
Yeah, definitely. And looking in on the replay, you can see those killer whales kind of going out and zoning that right-hand side from Aquatic Vanguard's perspective. This was the moment where Sub Power Up was going to try to make some closing remarks here, seeing if they can maybe follow up and get this tower moving. But look at this. Twig is in such a prime position. It really does take some distraction away from the objective because Twig is just such a sharp shooter. You really got to be careful with where you're standing. Those tri-strikes coming out on Kuroki, and you can see Nero there to quickly use them as a smokescreen to follow up, taking the tower out of possession. One other thing I want to note though, Toma, I mean, Sub Power Up, they have been so good about jumping out of the way when they need to. They were able to leave the zone, leave when a 2v1 was coming. They were able to like have a lot of foresight to when the fight was coming to them and knowing when they needed to get out of there, which is absolutely huge when you're trying to play in the team fight and be successful in the team fight. Because sometimes, you know, you gotta go. You gotta get out of there because valuing your life is sometimes better than pushing the objective, especially when you have a lot of time on the clock.
Absolutely, and I think that's really what, you know, makes these players a step above the rest. When you look at, you know, lower levels, you can see that they push really well, they can get in really well, but they don't know when to back out, and it becomes a problem, not so much on this map, but you look at maps like, you know, actually Manta Maria, Rainmaker is a great example of one. It's a map that goes really, really fast. Humpback Clams, the next one, a really great example of it. That map can change really fast if you wipe. The advantage from, you know, just going to one side of the map to the other and the way that points gain so fast for both of those, you have to be careful about what you do with your life, even when you are on offense. You can't really afford to go all down, and that's kind of, you know, knowing when to play it safe, knowing when to play or call a push dead, and choose to just hold as much space as you can as opposed to just pushing it all for a few points that may not matter. That really shows a next level of understanding the game.
And look at that. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a change up here. Kuroki opting to use the 96 Gal Deco that has the Kraken on it. And we're using it for Rainmaker too here. So, you know, we already know the classic crack and cheese that you can use on Clam Blitz games, but I want to say that there's a little bit of crack and cheese that you can use to your advantage here on Rainmaker as well. Because as long as you're able to use it to defend the checkpoints and defend when you're trying to get your dunk, it can be absolutely huge. And or like this here, you could see the Kraken user here just using those tri-strikes as a smoke screen to break in through and get into the street area. Sub Power Up now finding themselves in a delayed wipe scenario. So first checkpoint already is going to go to Aquatic Vanguard.
Yeah, that's one of those maps that goes really fast. If you end up in a major man disadvantage or wipe, that first checkpoint is going to fall really fast. It's going to be important now that Sub Power Up tries to stop them before they fall into this pit area, but not going to be able to do so. The push goes all the way to 5. This is a huge push for Manta, but of course, absolutely nothing unbeatable, but they do need to make sure that they don't lose this pop. They've got to keep an eye on Twig. If they don't know Twig is here, this could potentially be dangerous. Twig moving in through those strikes, but isn't going to be able to catch Mizuno on time as Mizuno just resets that Rainmaker, which is going to be really good for Sub Power Up's defense, because that could be, you know, a nightmare scenario if you had let Twig get a hold of that Rainmaker.
Well, Sub Power Up is going to be coming back into this mid-zone swing in Toma, because we got 3 specials online and we are ready to use them, 2 of them being Trizuka. So how are they able to stack these is going to be really crucial, and where is the Inkjet going to come into play as well? We're still holding on to it, both Trizukas being popped, but where is Sub Power Up? Where's Ike going? There's Astrum trying to follow up there, but there was nobody else in the process. So the Rainmaker still being pushed into the base of Sub Power Up with Aquatic Vanguard not letting up any pressure whatsoever. 2 people going down, though 3 people going down to Kuroki, who got a really nice triple splat there. I mean, Sub Power Up, even though that there is a lot of pressure onto them, they are still doing their best to hold the members of Aquatic Vanguard at bay.
Gosh, and I love to see this kind of gameplay right now, because all Aquatic Vanguard is doing is making sure that they can keep it on the Sub Power Up side of the map for as long as they can. Twig going for the pickup there, it's not to win. Twig is not trying to win the game there. It's, let me pick it up, let me be annoying. I'm going to cause you have to wait even longer for this Rainmaker to reset. I'm going to cause you to not be able to go back out to mid so that my team can continue to hold advantage of it. This is the exact type of play you need to be doing when you're in the lead, especially on a map like Manta. And you see Aquatic Vanguard doing it so well. And finding 2 right there. The Zuka coming out to stop it. But once again, Aquatic Vanguard is just throwing everything they have at this Rainmaker to keep it on Sub Power Up side of the map.
Yeah, it's just a fist fight going down in street right now, but you can see Aquatic Vanguard opting to, the NZAP opting to back up and just paint a little bit more of mid. Nero, though, getting called out by Gaysicle. They're going to opt to push backwards. But look at this. Sub Power Up has had so many specials at their disposal throughout the entire game. It's just whether or not they're going to, like, having the right opportunity to use them. A trade going down on top of the mass there. Mizuno now going to be the one to pick up the Rainmaker here, looking to see if they can get into this right-hand side. But with the tri-strikes pushing them out, Twig is quick to respond and going in and taking down the Rainmaker. Still only 81 points, though, for Sub Power Up. A lot mountain still to climb.
Yeah, and now you've got this Rainmaker once again in control of Aquatic Vanguard. They're going 2 down, but Ike is just gonna, you know, sit here, stall it as long as they can, not allow members of Sub Power Up to approach them. Going here on the cut, you know, almost able to make it all the way over, and just wasting the time of Sub Power Up, who is still yet to find this first checkpoint break. Mizuno here in the bunker trying to take a fight with Twig, but Twig getting the pick to continue Aquatic Vanguard's hold right now. Sub Power Up needs to make a play here with 45 seconds remaining. They have this Rainmaker pop, so it will reset unless they opt to grab it, and they're just trying to paint up mid here right now as best they can. They really need to make sure they have paint control, especially when you've got a brush that could be sharking around, that could pop out of anything or any bit of ink anywhere. You really need to just locate and shut down Aquatic Vanguard right now if you're Sub Power Up.
Yeah, they got to be really cautious of where Twig is going to be at. I mean, the amount of range, Toma, going from an E-Leer to an Octobrush is pretty insane, and having a heyday with both of them at that. pretty wild to see. So you got to be really cautious of that flex that people can do, because especially if they do it well. Mizuno almost getting that checkpoint so close with the suction bomb kind of right on their tail there, but unfortunately not able to make that final movement to keep it up. And so again, Aquatic Vanguard taking us to a game 4.
Oh, that was just so close at the end for Mizuno trying to get that dunk. But like you said, the suction bomb right there, and Twig, I think Twig kind of masterfully popped that Zipcaster, knowing like, what? There's a non-zero possibility that if I just try to take this fight right now with my main weapon, that I'm gonna lose. So let me just zip cast off. You can see right here around the end, you've got the Zuka out, finding a pick, sub power up, trying to find their footing here. They're like, okay, we've got a bit of an opportunity. I'm gonna get this paint down. I'm gonna get it up on the pedestal so that we can make sure whoever picks up has space to move forward. And this is where Mizuno comes in. Twig here, I think, remembers, yeah, like, let me not take that fight. I'm just gonna zip right behind, and then I can just zip forward. Zipcaster with that great buff recently. You just don't want to be right at the end of a Zipcaster arm, especially not with a giant glowing target on your back.
Yeah, and it was played perfectly too. Aquatic Vanguard being able to walk the tightrope between offense and defense is pretty interesting. And once again, Sub Power Up really has got to be looking out for what Twig is going to be doing, because again, if you're someone that can play backline really well like that, but then you can move forward into playing something that's so frontline heavy and aggressive, and something with Zipcaster too. I mean, my goodness, Twig, your wrists must be hurting. The amount of like flicking with the E-leader that you have to do, but then also trying to zip around with Zipcaster and find the right services to attach yourself to. I mean, that takes some skill.
No, really, and as a backline player myself, I'll go play funny, short range weapons every once in a while, just for, funny, I'll pick up a Luna Blaster, I'm like, haha, it's a little Luna Blaster, let me go, have some fun, but, I can't play that thing well, it's so different than my normal role, and being able to flex from, an E-leader to something that is so forward, like that Octobrush that really needs to get up into people's faces, really crazy, and Twig is able to do it really well, which is kind of scary now too if you're Aquatic or if you're Sub Power Up, because what is Aquatic Vanguard gonna do? You don't know. They have a lot of flexibility in your comp, and when you have people who can flex like that, it can make your choices pretty unpredictable.
Yeah, and especially if your flexes are able to play off of main weapons, if some people kind of tend to one-trick things. Twig is going to opt to stay with this Octobrush pick, though, but for Humpback Pump Track, that's going to be huge. I mean, this is a non-shooter map of all time, because all of the dips and valleys and things and the different terrain and stuff like that really does make it difficult for shooters to try to find their footing and to be successful here. But, I mean, right out the gate, Sub Power Up is going to have a really strong foothold in the turf game. They have a lot of green paint going down and creating a lot of forward momentum for their teammates to be pushed up. I mean, look at this. They're already all the way on the other side of Aquatic Vanguard right now.
Yeah, they just need to find a way to be able to get in here. Geisiko going to be launching that tent shield, trying to make the path, but Mizuno needs one more clam to get this dunk, but not going to be able to find so. And Ike actually going to slip in on the back end, making a clam right underneath the basket of Sub Power Up. Just timing that beautifully, saying, hey, while you're distracted over there, you're not able to make that clam. Why don't I just go ahead and move in there? Unfortunately, not able to find anything else off of it. Now Sub Power Up going to be able to capitalize off that. They're able to get the dunk, and they have clams to follow up here. This can be huge for Sub Power Up.
Okay, this is where I wanted the Tentbrella to really be coming in handy. I mean, that forward momentum push that they had with the clam holder behind them, absolutely huge. And then they were able to sweep Aquatic Vanguard into a 3-down scenario. Down to the 32 mark, Toma. There's still so much time on this clock, so anything can happen, but man, the Sub Power Up now making their stake and making their claim, being like, hey, we are not out of this game yet.
And Saf, this is a map where you can't push forward without clams. And we saw that I kind of dunked that one clam and then left and gave a penny to Sub Power Up, and now Sub Power Up has another clam as well. They are just feeding the economy of Sub Power Up at the moment. Sub Power Up is taking advantage of that. They have another jump into the basket area of Aquatic Vanguard, going to be able to take that lead down to 26 now, going to be able to keep it open for even a little bit longer. You see these clam spawns coming out in the middle of the map. They're going going to be able to continue to add to this lead. Just 17 remaining now. Koreki still has a few more
There's still
plans to keep this alive. There's more coming in on the back end. Gasical throwing more, and they're going to be able to find the knockout, Saf.
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. I mean, no notes from me. Like, that was sick.
Was crazy, Saf. Crazy.
I think, okay, again, you sometimes you like to think like, okay, where do these things fit into comp? That right there, ladies, gents, everyone in between, that is where the Tentrella fits. I mean, Gasical played that perfectly, and Sub Power Up, the remaining members of Sub Power Up just catered to that as well. And not only that, they were patient. They just threw a couple clams in here and there until everybody else could come in and get the rest of the clams. And especially with Gasical holding this right elbow, that was the thorn in Aquatic Vanguard's side.
Absolutely, Saf, and just waiting for the right moment there to get those final clams in. This is an absolute, 180 from these previous 3 games. Sub Power Up really here finding what works for them. And that's all it takes sometimes. One game to turn that momentum around, because now that is a huge game for under their belt. They just knocked it out basically, as clean as it could be. The one power clam slipped in from Aquatic Vanguard, but besides that, it was dominant from Sub Power Up.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter, because as soon as the basket closed from Aquatic Vanguard's push, Sub Power Up was at their front door. It didn't even matter. They were already ready to follow up with it. You could tell they'd played this map mode before. That was not a stranger to it.
And it's crazy too. Clam spawns on that map, Sapphire, they're abysmal, just to be honest. It is hard to build up a clam economy on that map, but the way that Sub Power Up just knew where they all were, always had them, was crazy. But right now, we're going to take a look in at Splatoon Tourney 1, Kit Kat versus Ink Drinkers, just getting started up in Game 1. Kit Kat here taking a play at this zone. This is going to be a great match here on Division 7.
Yeah, and Kit Kat is a team, once again, very, very good at handling the pressure, Toma. They have played at LANs before. They were at Riptide just a couple months ago. They've been doing really well in this Ludi season thus far. And so a lot of times it's hard to play with an audience, right? It gets under your skin a little bit, and I can totally understand how that feels. But Kit Kat, no strangers to having an audience. So could it be an upper hand? But who knows?
Ink Drinkers, a team that's been on stream in low inks and other low-level tourneys before, so keep an eye out over there in Splatoon Tourney 1. But here, we're going back in for Game 5. We've got Barnacle in Dime Zones coming out here. Twig returning back to that E-Leader pick, and we still see some more awesome Tenebrella action. This is another map I think could be really good for that tent, but unfortunately going down pretty early, and this zone gonna flip right back to the side of Aquatic Vanguard.
Yeah, and again, you got to be really cautious. I mean, look how far up Twig is pushed. I mean, they are in the mid zone. They're watching where their teammates are, probably making the callouts. Wow, what a Zuka shot over that wall by Nerd. That was clean. And look at this. You can see Ike is just going to waste no time to get up on this platform with Suna to follow up here. Sub Power Up just not having too much ground to stand on. Kuroki trying to do a squid roll to get out of the way, but unfortunately opts for the water instead. But I mean, Twig's holding it down and allowing jumps for Aquatic Vanguard to get back in here, so that timer's just going to keep ticking away.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job at holding space right now. They got 3 down, just a ballpoint left on Sub Power Up, and these jumps now are probably going to be ending up in a very dangerous spot, especially as these tri-strikes are coming out. Koreki does make a play at the zone, finds one, gets I think a trade there as well, but Sinnoh gonna just recap this zone, has this wall out to take the fight against Mizuno, and Aquatic Vanguard is gonna take that game in a very dominant fashion. This is the same kind of Aquatic Vanguard you saw, those first 3 games that we had going on. This is just, they said, hey, we saw what y'all did last game, we're not gonna let that happen again. We see that tent, we're not gonna let it in on our side.
Yeah, do not let Gasical get set up. That was the takeaway from that last Clams game. Do not let Gasical get set up. Do not allow them to protect their jumps. And look at this, 35 seconds left on the clock for Aquatic Vanguard. Twig holding it down, probably making some really good call-outs here, especially with having Sinnoh and Ike being able to push up together onto that left-hand elbow side. I mean, so much distraction factor for Sub Power Up to not play the objective, being kind of worried about who's coming into the base and not allowing us to spawn in. And I just think Aquatic Vanguard was just better at their fights in this one, Toma.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, Saf. You know, and if you can win these fights, especially the way that they take fights together, I think a really good point in that game was when they were pushed up and you saw, I believe it was Ike and Sinnoh, taking 2 fights together on to that 10 umbrella up on the left-hand side of Sub Power Up space. That's the kind of situation you want to be. You don't want to take one-on-one fights. You want to try to turn it into 2v1s. You want to, you know, if you're not going to fight them, you want to throw a bomb that forces them into your teammate where they may not be expecting someone to be. That is how you win these fights. It's especially if you can't just out-mechanic someone. And at this level, you can't always rely at just out-mechanicking somebody. So you really have to focus on that team play, that team fight that goes on.
Yeah, and I do think it also can come down to the call-outs that you make too, especially because, you know, if you're saying, hey, like there's this person on the left-hand side, I really need some help here. And if you have a teammate that's very quick to respond to a call-out like that, I mean, it's game-changing. It can make or break what's happening, because what if someone else, like let's say you take down that person that you're talking about, someone else was making a call out to follow up with them, but they're already down, then the cards are reversed. It's an Uno reverse, because now the other team is in a 2 down or a 2 versus 1 situation. So just knowing where you gotta be and knowing where your mates are, I mean, is absolutely huge.
Yeah. That is a big part of it, and you know, we see time and time again that these teams know how to do it. But now getting ready for Sturgeon Shipyard here, game 6, Saf. This could be a dangerous one, really, for either side. This is known to be a very snowbally map. It's kind of like once you let checkpoint 1 fall, if you get staggered, if you get wiped again, you're gonna move that checkpoint pretty easily to checkpoint 2, and if that thing falls, it's really hard to stop a knockout.
Yeah, and I really want to note here that Astrum is switching off of that ballpoint. Again, the range, Toma, they're switching off the ballpoint and going on to the Kraken roller. So Kraken and Beacon's going to be had for sub power up, which is going to be huge on a map like Sturgeon Shipyard. There's so many little nooks and crannies to hide those beacons at. And sub power up, I think with having that juice online, they got to get back into this map as quickly as possible. And I think that that's maybe a note that was taken in this last game. They know that they got to be here. They can't waste any time being away from the map. And now Aquatic Vanguard is in its delayed wipe scenario, 3 members down. Sub power up having 3 specials online, Toma, and this first checkpoint is about to fall.
Yeah, this could be absolutely huge from them, especially if they can get the kind of stagger on to Aquatic Vanguard. They're going to be forcing Twig to back up here, which could be really huge. And just looking to see if they can find the pick. They do survive the back, but unfortunately are not going to be able to take Twig down. Now, this is sub power up, going to be 3 down, but not before pushing all the way to that second checkpoint, Saf, and that is a huge push for them. They just need to now be able to get back in here, hold as much space as they can. They definitely want to try to make another go at that if they're able to get in, but they really need to just find their footing back in mid first, and that's going to be really crucial, especially as these specials start coming out on the side of Aquatic Vanguard. You see that Whale, you see the Tri-Strikes and the Zuka all popped in tandem, which is going to allow them to clear checkpoint 1 over here pretty uncontested, especially with the aid of a back. And now the power up has to be careful to not allow the same thing to happen to them that they just did to Aquatic Vanguard.
Yeah, and it's really close right now for Aquatic Vanguard. It's a 3 versus 3, a 2 versus 3 scenario with sub power up in favor. That tower is going to be moving back to the middle section. So 46 to 34 with only 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for some things to change here. But once again, sub power up doing such a good job of building their specials. Consistently, when you look up at that top bar, folks, there's always at least 1 to 2 specials online for sub power up, which is absolutely crucial. You need to be like cautious of how you use your specials, but you also just need to have them at your disposal and know when you gotta use them, know when you gotta like maybe panic button a little bit. Sometimes that can happen and it's okay if it does. But Aquatic Vanguard is gonna do a good job at defending here because they don't want this tower to be pushed any further than it already has been. There's so much ground still that they need to make up as well as the tower once again moves back into mid.
Yeah, they're going to be looking here right now at trying to get something going. They are on the tower right now, Mizuno, and they got that tent, you notice, up on that right-hand side too, but unfortunately goes down. Mizuno has the cooler out to try to provide themselves a little bit of speed and, a fast re-entry if they do go down, but they have to find these picks once again to really get up here in this space. Sinnoh going to be trying to stop that from happening here on the side, taking a fight with Gaysicle. Gaysicle going down, but Astrum going to find the trade for them. Nerd there on that wall. I don't think anybody quite saw them. Koreki trying to avoid the bomb that unfortunately picks Gaysicle on the jump, and now Koreki is going to finally move up. Dies, but Mizuno does trade them out.
Yeah, and Mizuno's doing such a good job of holding down the turf. I mean, they kept painting just at their teammates' feet, and it's crucial if you're going to be using something like a Junior or an NZAP. I mean, you are the painter for the squad, and so if you see that your teammates are in a fight and they're just kind of losing some ground, exactly what Mizuno is doing is so helpful for winning the team fight. But now with Aquatic Vanguard on this tower, the Killer Whale coming out for some displacement, Twig once again getting set up, having Vac online, and they are going to pop that vacuum as they move into this next checkpoint here. But with Astrum there to be able to follow up now, Aquatic Vanguard in a 2-down, a 3-down scenario with another special online for sub power up, make it 2. That tower is going to be moving back to mid once again with only a minute left on the clock. Sub power up is just holding on tight here for this lead.
That was a huge crushed by roller moment, really crucial for sub power up to be able to get the defense there. And now, they're even able to potentially push, but Azuka is out on the side of sub power up at the moment, and it is able to pick the Azuka from Aquatic Vanguard. They've got 2 down on Aquatic Vanguard. Gaysicle looking to make an entry here on the side, but unfortunately people are behind them and are going to be able to pick off Tower Riders. Gaysicle, I think, now realizing that and turning around, does find a member of Aquatic Vanguard, but to go down on sub power up, they need to get back in here to defend this tower, especially as it's going to be quickly encroaching upon where you may see a lead swap happen, and that Vac is out. You got the Zuka trying to defend the tower now as Gaysicle here tries to take a fight with their team members. 2 down on sub power up. You've got the members of Aquatic Vanguard just trying to get on that tower but keep falling to bombs. The strikes come out to try to provide a stroke screen as Ike moves in there, but is unfortunately going to go down. Sub power up going to be able to hold on to that. Woo! Oh my God.
I'm just clapping. Oh my God. I love the last few seconds of tower control because it turns into an absolute mess with a bunch of ink flying everywhere. Everybody's blood is everywhere in the last few seconds of tower control always. I mean, I really hope that we got that on the replay. I want to take that one slow and just see the tit for tat that was happening in those last few seconds. Okay, so there's the vacuum. Gaysicle trying to follow up with a mobile screen, a mobile shield. Kuroki with the Trizuka, looking to see if they can get a pick. If anything, they got some ink on the ground. I loved seeing Kuroki use Gaysicle to their advantage there. Kuroki going down. Sinnoh getting on the tower. The Trizuka taking 2 people out from Gaysicle. Gaysicle is in a prime position to follow up. The Tri-Strike's taking out Mizuno. But look at Ike is trying to push forward, pushing it just a little bit, but Astrum is there to follow up and Gaysicle on the top. I mean, my goodness, it was just a tit for tat all the way down, but sub power came up on top.
Oh my gosh, just all those specials, all those weapons vying for the tower, all the bombs being thrown at it, just like you said, a absolute bloodbath as everybody just wants to be able to touch it just for a little bit longer.
Even just for a moment. Even just for a moment. I just want to see it. I just want to touch it. I just want to feel it. I want to feel something. But like, head empty only tower. I mean, in those moments, because a lot of times when it comes down to it, if your lead is about to be lost, you're just like, dude, I just got to get one finger on that thing. I got to get like a toe on there to stop this from happening. And it just, and it's good. It was really good that sub power up just had so much jumping that they could do, because you could see even on the side where Gaysicle was posted up, they just kept having teammates jump to them in those last few seconds in order to stop the tower from moving. Sub power up is not out of it yet, Toma. They are gonna go in strong on this game, Rainmaker Scorch Gorge.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is like, I hate making predictions sometimes because I'm like, this is gonna happen. Then you know what happens? It doesn't every time. Like,
the thing that I said it was gonna happen, yeah, so that didn't happen.
But Sap, so theoretically in my brain, I see this. I see the tent umbrella for sub power up. And if there is a straight shot on any map with Rainmaker, it's this one. You pop, you know, that Timbrella shield at the, you know, pedestal. Okay, you move down through their pit. Oh, you need one more to get up the ramp. Okay, launch another one. Like, this is like, it's got the perfect cover, Saf, for this map.
It's textbook.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, how are they going to do it? Is it going to stay? I'm watching
you.
All eyes on Gaysicle right now. But of course, they're going to keep it. And also, Astrum is like, hey, you know what? That was pretty fun. I'm going to keep it too. But they saw the aggression that was coming out from Sub Power Up, and that is Twig changing out for the Octobrush, and actually Nerd is going to back up and be using the Vacuum Ballpoint. So a little bit of a change up from Aquatic Vanguard as well. So it's kind of going to be like a tent versus Vacuum fight, Toma.
I'm really interested to see that, and luckily they do have the roller as well to be able to aid against the Vacuum, because I mean we saw the epic crushed by roller moment earlier last set. You know, that's going to be their big defense, shutting that thing down while it is still active. But Aquatic Vanguard right now, you know, no back on their side quite yet, as this Rainmaker is moving up here towards this pedestal, looking to try to be able to find the dunk. Just waiting for the right moment, is going to be able to do it, but then unfortunately goes down to that Zuka from Koreki, who's going to be sitting here trying to make sure that they don't let anything else be gained off this push from Aquatic Vanguard. But just look at this sea of blue right now around the Rainmaker. Astrum moving up here though, now trying to flush it out. You see a lot of pink moving in here saying, okay, Aquatic Vanguard, you're done for now. We need you to get out of here. Your push is over. Go home.
Yeah, and one thing I want to note about that too, you could see that Aquatic Vanguard had a lot of jumps coming in on that top section behind the pedestal. But if you're Sub Power Up's perspective, you can't see that. You don't really know what's going on over there. Maybe the call out wasn't being made because they were hesitant to push forward until Astrum was able to get the Kraken out, and they were like, okay, their space has now been cleared. We can move out safely. Only the Rainmaker and the 52 gal going to be online here, though, as two members of Sub Power Up go down. But Ike trying to break through to the other side, down to the 47 mark. Kuroki, unfortunately, getting bombed out on the tower, or on the Rainmaker shield by a suction bomb. But Aquatic Vanguard is not letting go of their offense here, Toma. Astrum's trying to take Twig out, but goes down in the process. The Vacuum is going to be a huge help here with Sinnoh, and they're able to get just a few more points on the board from it.
Yeah, definitely feeling good if you're Aquatic Vanguard here right now, but can't get too comfortable as you finally get a little bit of a delayed wipe there on the side of Aquatic Vanguard. Sub Power Up going to finally be able to find their footing here in mid, and 33, well, you know, a decent push. It is nowhere near safe on this map. This is a map that goes really far. It has really low scores. It's not even past that, or onto that ramp yet. So it's definitely still a winnable game here from Sub Power Up, but Twig coming in, finding two there. Now going to be waiting around this Rainmaker. No, not even going to wait. Going to go straight for Gaysicle. Astrum jumping in there. Going to see if they can pick Astrum as well, but no, not going to be able to. Astrum does eventually fall. You see that Gaysicle had to jump out there in that interaction. Now it's going to be looking here at the back end of that Rainmaker. Not able to find the pick there. It's going to continue to just face a lot of fires. This Rainmaker finds a pick, just the roller left up. This is going to be a huge opportunity for Aquatic Vanguard. Down to 20 now. Of course, you know, never safe on this map specifically, but definitely a lot more solid than it was before, especially when you've already got jumps and other people moving in here. But finding two there, Gaysicle going to do a great job at helping flush Aquatic Vanguard out of their base.
Yeah, I mean, Sub Power Up is so quick to follow up as soon as they are able to get the advantage. They're so quick to get back into the mid section afterwards. But they have the Trizuka of their own from Kuroki online. They're looking to get their first checkpoint pop here. The Tri-Strikes is going to delay that a little bit, but Mizuno is going to play this one patiently. They said, hey, you know what? I'm going to back up, but I can see that my two teammates are there. They're just trying to flush it out and hold forward. And Twig, unfortunately, able to break through, causing a little bit havoc for Mizuno, but she's not going to let it falter her. So Sub Power Up finally breaking through to their first checkpoint.
Ooh, good Mizuno play right there. That was absolutely huge for Sub Power Up. But now Aquatic Vanguard just has everything locked and loaded, aiming at this Rainmaker, stopping Sub Power Up from being able to even approach it here, forcing a reset, and gonna make Sub Power Up turn around if they want to be able to continue to try to get some score on the board, which they desperately need to do. The Kraken Astrum finding a great pick on to Twig there, and now though the Rainmaker going in possession of Aquatic Vanguard, who's just gonna put it here in kind of this annoying place. Ike is just like, hey, I'm gonna just drop it down here. Like, I don't need to score right now. This is like an awkward spot for you. And yeah, really a good play that Ike was able to get away with that.
Yeah, and you can see Mizuno's kind of waiting patiently here. Is it safe? Is it not safe? But now they're going to opt to pick it up. Finally having the Rainmaker in their possession. Only 12 seconds left on the clock for Sub Power Up to push forward. But with the vacuum and the suction bomb coming in, the Tri-Strikes coming out too with 5 seconds remaining, I mean, Aquatic Vanguard's just got to hold on to it in order to secure the win. And that's exactly what they're going to do here. Aquatic Vanguard winning 5-2 against Sub Power Up.
Yeah, gosh, what a set, Saf, you know? I mean, I know we say it all the time, like, it sounds cheesy at this point, that we're like, the score, it doesn't paint the full set, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, like, what insane moments from both sides. Like, that Clams game from Sub Power Up, just insane. You don't look at a score like that and think that stuff like this happened. Right now, though, looking at the end of this set here, after Ike set that in quite an unfortunate spot for Sub Power Up, looks like Mizuno thought that they were going to grab it there for a second, didn't quite get it though, and then moved up here, but unfortunately losing 2 members of Sub Power Up, and then that whale plus the suction bomb and Twig zip casting in just was going to be able to take them out. Then you got all these specials loaded there. You've got those 3 Tri-Strikes. You've got the Inkavac coming in there, and there's just not much that Sub Power Up can do about that.
Yeah, Aquatic Vanguard, one thing, Toma, they did such a good job of being able to zone and displace the members of Sub Power Up from really getting a good step forward, which I think it was really to Sub Power Up's detriment. I mean, Twig was absolutely everywhere all at once. Literally the movie, everything everywhere all at once. That was Twig in a lot of these games, and especially when they were playing Octobrush, they were everywhere. And they were sharking in the most ridiculous little spots of ink. And Sub Power Up, like, really, I think was on their toes a little bit. If they didn't see where Twig was, if that call out was not made, they're like, okay, where are they? Because and you already know that they're gunning it for the Rainmaker as soon as they can. But also, I gotta give props to Mizuno. Mizuno was an excellent Rainmaker carrier, because back in that play before where they had a lot of pressure behind them, but they were also waiting really patiently to get that first checkpoint pop. As soon as there was like a lot of pressure behind them, they were like, okay, the only way to go is forward, but I know that I can go forward in this moment. And it's just such quick thinking, which is just so awesome to see.
Absolutely, you're 100% right there, Saf, and just what an amazing set to see, Saf. You know,
well, I don't know if Saf saw it. She's got her hat on.
I saw the whole thing. I see everything.
Okay. Oh man, what a fun set between these two teams. Aquatic Vanguard Sub Power Up again. I think the Clams game that Sub Power Up won definitely kept us on our toes, because like, whoa, okay, like this, I don't want to say came out of nowhere, but this has like been a really good push from Sub Power Up that we haven't really seen in the beginning games. But yeah, they were able to hold on for a little bit longer in a few of the other games, but ultimately Aquatic Vanguard winning that one 5-2. Very fun set, Saf and Toma. Right now in Splatoon Tourney 1, we do have a Div 7 matchup between Kit Kat and Ink Drinkers, and right now Kit Kat is down by 1, so it is 1-2 Ink Drinkers as they are in the middle of Game 4. At the conclusion of this, we will be rating them, so you guys will not miss any of the action. But for now, Saf and Toma, we gotta sign off. This was a lot of fun. Finishing up week 5 of Ludi, a lot of teams have already finished their Ludi season. A few others have 1 more week to go, and a few others have more than 2 matches to play in a week, and Godspeed to you. So we will be doing Ludi tonight again next week, aiming for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening at our standard time. So thank you guys all for watching. Where can we find you guys? Saf, we'll start with you.
You can find me on Twitter and on the one weather app that everybody likes now. I forget what it's called. Anyway, you can find me there, Safi Rhea. That's 2 P's, 2 A's, at Safi Rhea. You can also find me eating a ton of soup this winter season because, man, I'm shifting into soup mode, baby. What about you, Toma?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Crest of Gautier, or over at Blue Sky at Coma SBL. Unfortunately, I won't be here with the crew next Sunday like normal. I'm going to be out of town for my birthday, but I will catch you all back. I'll catch you all back, during playoffs. There's tons of Ludi action still waiting to be had there. But Falco, where can the good people find you?
You can find me Falco Flyer on Twitch, Falco Flyer 11 on Twitter, and hey, this is a lot of fun. I always enjoy commentating with you guys, or hosting rather. I'm not really commentating. I'm just here vibing. I'm just vibing. But Saf, why don't you sign us off?
Yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming. We'll see you next week. Remember, we're here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're watching Ludi Tonight on Splatoon Tourney.